Hello, welcome back. In previous videos we converted a HTML CSS based static theme into Drupal 6 theme. If we take a closer look, the wrapper container wrapper outer if we take a closer look, the structure of div IDs should be very similar between the static HTML site and Drupal site. So now let's take a closer look. The whole page is wrapped by container wrapper outer and then container wrapper inner, and it contains container. Let's take a look at the Drupal site. So it has container wrapper outer, container wrapper inner, and container. Inside the container it's menu, banner, content wrapper, and footer. And the same here, menu, banner, content wrapper, footer. If we go inside the content wrapper, we have content. Same here, we go into the content wrapper, we have content. We go inside the content, we have main column and side column. In the static site we have content, main column, side column. We go inside the main column, we have section W590. We go in there, we have the content. In the Drupal site we go to main column, we go into section W590 content, and now here is the difference. Now in the Drupal site we have more div IDs. Here is node 1. Where is this div ID node 1 coming from? Let's take a look. In Drupal, if you have Devel module installed and enabled, you get a function called DSM. What that function does is output whatever is contained in a variable, and it outputs for you to take a look at it. So node 1, div ID node 1 is part of this content variable. So let's take a look. And we go to our site. And this is the content of the content variable. As you can see, div ID node 1. Where is this coming from? Let's take a look. So the whole content of this content variable is coming out of node.tpl.php. To just show an example, we will wrap the whole content of this template file with a div ID, my ID. And in our CSS file we will go all the way in the end and define my ID. Give it a background color of red so that we can see it is being applied. if we refresh it, you can see the node background of the node is being colored red. So what we did, we wrapped the whole content of the node.tpl.php wrapped with div id, my id, and in style.css we defined a rule of background color red. Now we can define more width, say 150 pixel, to really see if we have control over the whole content variable. Okay, we'll take that off, and here instead of node 1 we can say my id test. So if we go in our site, if we okay, now it says my id test 1, and the same way we can control each and every output here. And now let me put everything back the way it was, and same in the page.tpl.php. Next we will take a look at the blocks. Take an example, these were the blocks we defined. This was the special 1 and this was special 2. So let's see how they travel from one point to another. Blocks start their journey in themes info file. So in our case it's stake.info, and the region is defined in this file. So if we take a closer look, regions special 1, and this is the description, special 1 is defined here. And now if we go to our Drupal install, in the admin section, anything we place under this, any block we place under this special 1 will be available in page.tpl.php as variable special 1. Right here. So if you want to take a look what is inside this special 1, we will use DSM. Refresh the page, and here it is. So this is div id block 2. This is being generated from, let's see, if we take a look in our code and go in templates, block.tpl.php, and this is where it is getting all the div IDs inside that block. So I will wrap this with our test div ID, my ID, and close it, and let's see what happens now. I just want to make sure that the test ID, my ID is defined in CSS. Okay, it's right here. So if we refresh it, so all the blocks they're getting the div ID my ID, and we were trying to get just this one, the special one. And the way we can just target this special one here, instead of applying the div ID in block.tpl.php, we can copy the whole code into another template.php file, name it as block special one dot tpl.php. So if we go here, my ID, and now refresh it. Now that template file is only being used for this block, not for any other block, and we can control or add more stuff into only this block. So where else we can get hold of this content? If we go to, let me put this back where how it was, and if we go to themes template.php file, and I have a function named theme name preprocess page, it gets 2 arguments, and let me DSM the first argument and see how it looks. I just have to clear the theme registry for it to show up. So if we look at it now, this is everything which is contained in that var, in this var argument. And here you can see this is special one. So let's take a look again. If we go here, special one. So ours, the key is the name of the block inside our info file. And let's see. Now we have the content of the block. We can change it here as well.